Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be reading bedtime stories. This is for anyone who's got a baby or recently had a baby and would like to make sure they get off to sleep in time for their first Christmas. And normally I'll admit I don't really do kid-friendly videos on my channel, but who's not a big kid at Christmas? So I've picked out two books. So this video is part one, the first one, and I've got this one, which will be part two. So we'll be starting off with Most Loved Bear. So keep on watching. The Most Loved Bear, written by Sam McBratney and illustrated by Sam Usher. It's inside the cover. Wonderful artwork, I have to say. Anyway, 50 years ago, or maybe 60 years ago, a little girl called Mary Rose bought a teddy bear with the sixpences she had saved in her money box. Mary Rose loved the look in her teddy's big brown eyes and the feel of his soft fur. She called her new bear Growly Bear because he growled when she tipped him up, like roar. Her mummy sewed a G on the bottom of one foot and a B on the bottom of the other. Growly Bear became a very special friend and went everywhere with Mary Rose. Then, one sad day, Mary Rose lost him on a train. She tried to find him, but Growly Bear ended up in the lost property office, hidden behind all the lost umbrellas, hats and gloves. "Someone is sure to come for me soon," Growly Bear may have said to himself, trying to look on the bright side. But no one did. No one came for him until that blowy day in autumn when everything in the lost property office was put up for sale and Growly Bear was bought by a boy called Ronnie and his dad. They thought that he was very cheap, a bargain bear. In fact, and that's what they called him, Bargain Bear. There wasn't much room in Ronnie's house for toys, so his new bargain bear got a bit squashed and a bit bashed. Bargain bears are tough though, and they don't mind a bit of squashing and bashing. Besides, Ronnie loved reading, and he read many a story to his good friend Bargain Bear. After some years had gone by, Ronnie's dad had to make some room for different things. Ronnie was growing up fast and needed room for his record player and his books, so he sold Bargain Bear to the second-hand shop. "Someone is sure to come for me," Bargain Bear may have thought to cheer himself up. But it isn't easy to look on the bright side. When you've lost your growl, you're not the brand new bear you used to be. How long was he there in the second-hand shop? It might have been years, for bargain bears are not good at knowing the time. Then one day, he was spotted by twin brothers, and they bought him. Living with brothers who love football can be rough. One unlucky day, while kicking their ball in the house, they broke one of their mother's flying ducks and had the ball taken away from them. Bargain Bear soon became the ball. Before long, those twins broke another duck. Their mum marched them straight to bed and gave Bargain Bear to a man who came collecting for the charity shop. Sitting in the charity shop, Bargain Bear may have worried that no one would want him. How can you look on the bright side? When you've lost your growl, you've got a loose eye, and there are holes in your body where the stuffing shows through. Then a girl called Veronica saw him and loved him at once. She brought him home that same day because he was very, very cheap. Cheap enough to buy with her pocket money. Veronica gave Bargain Bear a bath and a good brush. She set him up high where he could not be chewed or thrown about, for Veronica had small brothers and sisters who often broke their toys. Then, when nighttime came, Veronica would lift down her Bargain Bear for a cuddle. One morning, her sisters found him under the covers of her bed. They had a tug of war with Bargain Bear, and they pulled and pulled and pulled until one of his arms came off. Poor Bargain Bear. But what could they do with him now? "Mummy, don't just throw him out," cried Veronica. "No, of course I won't throw him out, but we'll give him to the teddy hospital," said her mother, and they did. How long did Bargain Bear sit in the back of the toy mender's shop? No one knows. He may have wished for a boy or girl to take him home, but a bear with a torn arm. Even someone who tried to look on the bright side can't have been too hopeful that such a thing would happen. Oh. At last, however, the toy mender got busy with needle and thread and buttons. He sewed the arm back on, did a patch on here, put a patch there, and until he looked at Bargain Bear and said, "As good as new." That was a bit of an exaggeration, but Bargain Bear certainly looked much improved. He even had a new growly voice, which must have pleased him a lot. When he tipped him forward, his growl was as grand as it had ever been. The toy mender sold Bargain Bear to an antique shop, a shop full of old and very expensive things. Bargain Bear may have wondered who would buy him, for this was not the sort of shop that children usually came to. Then came the week before Christmas. The streets outside sparkled under a host of many-coloured lights, and shoppers hurrying by hardly seemed to notice the flakes of snow falling from a black sky. A lady and her husband came to an antique shop. Looks pretty, doesn't it? The lady glanced up at the teddy bear in the window and then looked again. The second time she noticed a G on his right foot. "Oh my goodness!" she said. "It couldn't be, could it?" "Let's go in and have a look at the other foot, Mary Rose," said her husband, who had often heard the story of Growly Bear and how he had the letter G on one foot and B on the other foot. "It's there! The B!" cried Mary Rose. "It's him! It's my Growly Bear! After all these years, he's mine again. I wonder where he's been. Isn't this a fine thing?" It was a very fine thing. Mary Rose paid £100 to the shopkeeper and took her Growly Bear home. "This time, I'm not going to lose you," she told him. And she didn't. He still lives with Mary Rose, and I should think he's pleased, don't you? After all, it's not so hard to look on the bright side when someone loves you as much as that. Now, I don't know about you, but that was really good, wasn't it? I've got a treat for you. Bear with me. Bit of a special guest while we're on the subject of bears. This one's mine. I've had him about 20 years and he's my favourite, and I'm not ashamed to say it. Yeah. His name is Koki, because around the time that I got him as a gift, there was a lot of Coca-Cola polar bears, which were like, to me they're like a symbol of Christmas. So yeah, he's named after the Coca-Cola polar bears, so he's my baby. Yeah. Mwah. So yeah, from me and my little bear, we'll see you, well, I'll see you. This one's going back to bed. I'll see you in the next one. Take care and Merry Christmas.